serving you a dose of wisdom and humor with a dash of radiance. Welcome to Biscuits and Sunshine with your hosts, Callie and Landra.
Hey y'all, pull up a seat at our table for your next serving of Biscuits and Sunshine. I'm Callie.
And I'm Landra. It makes me hella happy to have you here with us. We're recording this from Distance More Audio Studios in Athens, Greece. Welcome to 2025 and episode 21. Ikoussi Enna. Πάμε, let's go.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Happy New Year! Back in the studio again for 2025. Happy to be here with you, Filimu.
Let it begin.
I'm really excited about this year. Feel like I'm bringing a lot of good energy into 25.
Nice.
And we're in like the middle phase of my favorite time of year, so I have a good feeling I'm going to be able to beat those post-holiday blues.
She's got a feeling. Woo-hoo.
Tonight's gonna be a good night.
That this year's gonna be a good year.
Woo! All right, let us begin. I have this great memory of New Year's a few years ago. Let's say when my oldest niece and nephew were 3 and 5, my brother sent us a video where the kids at like 7 o'clock in the evening doing a little New Year's cheers, and they've got sparkling grape juice. And my nephew doesn't like the bubbles. And so he's like, Sissy, is this spicy? Is this spicy? And she goes, no. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And it's something that has become like a tagline for my mom and dad and I. All the time, I'm just like, hey guys, Happy New Year.
That is so adorable.
I hear her little voice in my head all the time.
That makes me think about when I was younger and we would do those little celebrations, watch the countdown on TV, Dick Clark's. Now it's Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah,
is that right? Yeah. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to go out when I'm an adult and celebrate and like have drinks.
And stay awake till midnight?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
thank you. I saw this thing on the internet once. I want to rock and roll, and you know the song, and party every day. But the meme said, part of every day, just until like 9 p.m. because then it's bedtime.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I have spent a lot of New Year's working. And so I would say for the majority of my 20s, I was never awake for the actual turn of the new year.
Mm.
And I think in some way it sort of took the pressure off of me because I feel like we get to the end of this year, that week between Christmas and New Year feels like no man's land. And so I feel like being able to take the pressure off the holiday for me has allowed me to be like, yeah, whatever. It's not a big deal. I know how I'm going to start the year. Doesn't matter what I'm actually doing at the strike of midnight.
Yeah, I was in my 20s working retail, so it was like deep in that holiday, like, all right, we're at the home stretch. Let's just finish out January. So yeah, not a few celebrations, but mostly it was like, I just got to rest. How funny. It's kind of like opposite than what most people think your 20s would be like.
Yeah, out partying. I think I did one until I moved to Greece and we went out, you, me, Alex, and the chef. Until we went out, I think one other New Year Eve I spent out with friends. Because in university, I was always home at my parents'. And only one year did I go out and I had a miserable time. I was tired. Everyone consumed way too much to drink. It just wasn't like a good feeling.
Yeah, you got me thinking of like the hype. When you were saying that, I was having visions of coming back to living in San Francisco, I was dating someone, and it was like a whole big group. We got together, got tickets to go to this hotel and this whole party, and it was just lines everywhere. Like it just, and then like you're wearing these heels, and my feet were killing me, and it was cold and nothing like snow or anything cold. So yeah, I was like, I think I'm kind of over it.
Yeah. Also, I remember this crazy time coming back from my grandparents when we were little on New Year's Eve. And this like drunk driver drove into our lane.
Ooh.
And it terrified me. And I think that memory lives somewhere deep inside my core. So if I have to drive somewhere on New Year's, it always gives me a little bit of anxiety. So I love being here, you guys came to Center that year, and we just walked everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone was walking. Everyone was out on their feet. And it was really, I had no anxiety whatsoever.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I remember my mom would always say that too. And like for the most part, like I just want to be home. Yeah, I don't want to have to be on the road. Where I grew up, there's a lot of fog. That plus worrying about drunk drivers, like just not even worth the stress.
A lot of layers.
Yeah, there's something so nice about being cozy at home in your comfies.
That sounds like a great every night for me.
I know. And then at some point, I had a group of friends that were more excited about getting up fresh on the New Year day and getting out into nature. Surprise, surprise. So that, as like a tradition I started loving is like getting up, hiking, fresh air. That always kind of refreshes me.
Oh, I know.
I know.
Last year we did it together.
And that's right. The one and only time we hiked together. Got you, me, Alex, hiking up Le Cavitos.
Yeah, us and 200 of our favorite friends.
Yeah.
It was packed up there that day.
It was beautiful. It was a clear, crisp morning.
Yeah. And it does give you a sense of accomplishment to start the year.
And I also thought about like perspective, right? Because you get up there and you can look out and see all over this city. And there's just a beautiful way to start the new year. It feels like anything's possible.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you get a different perspective on your daily routine, you get up high, you're in a plane, you've hiked a mountain. In my mind, it definitely felt like a mountain. I think you realize how small we are and how we can get so wrapped up in our own personal experience and our own day-to-day and everything we have going on. It's nice to have a different perspective, and to start the year with a different perspective, I think is a really great way. It's to, let's say, start on the right foot.
I love the Greek tradition about throwing a pomegranate at your front door and then all the little seeds break out. And I think it has to do, correct me if I'm wrong, with like a sense of prosperity and abundance for the new year. Of course, we don't do that here because we have the marble floors.
Yes.
Yeah, you would not want to get that red juice stain all over. But my sister-in-law does it with her kids at their home, and they could just get the hose out and wash it down. But I think it's such a really cool tradition.
I could imagine you guys doing that here and saying, this is the stain from 2021. This is the stain from 2025. Yeah, we definitely don't want that. Another thing the Greeks do, I'm sure it's prevalent in many cultures, but after the strike of midnight, they make sure to exit the home and then enter again on the right foot.
I did not know this.
Just to make sure that you are setting a good course for yourself into the new year.
It's like a little bit of superstition in that.
Oh, yeah.
Or ritual.
Oh, yeah.
And what is the one? My mother-in-law is super sweet. She always invites me to it in Washington, D.C., but I'm not able to attend. But it's the one with the cake and they bake it with a coin inside.
The Vasilopita.
Yes.
On New Year's Day, January 1, is Saint Basil's name day, Vasilis in Greek. And the legend has it that, okay, if there's a historian listening to this, I'm going to butcher it. The legend has it that Saint Basil was living in a village and the village was being invaded. By whom? I can't remember. He collected all the valuables of everyone in the village and put them in a big bag. And after the village survived, the way that they returned the valuables, he baked them into a big pita, a big cake. And miraculously, every family, when they cut the pieces, every family got the exact valuables that they put into the bag.
What? Wow.
And so now we bake a vasilopita every beginning of the year. We put a coin inside, and whoever finds the coin has luck for the year.
I love that. And just now I finally understand the name.
Basil's pita.
Yes. I mean, I just knew the name of it, but didn't realize the association of the name day of St. Basil.
So anyone named
Kitanadis.
Anyone named Vas, Vasiliki, they all celebrate January 1. The cool thing is with Vasilopita, every family, every group, every organization does one. So the likelihood is you're eating Vasilopita all through January and into February because you can get away with it if it's the group's first meeting after the new year. There are two main ways to make Vasilopita, one more like a cake and one more like bread. I don't think I ever had the cake kind until I got older, and it's by far my favorite. I think we should do Vasilopita at our next Filas Friday get-together. I can make it. Well, I'll make it. I'd love to make it. I won't buy it. I'll make it.
I love this. You got a recipe in your Betty Crocker book?
Yes, my Betty Crockeropoulos cookbook.
Ah, Greek Betty Crocker.
The Betty.
Muoresi parapoli.
I think it's cool because we both have really nice associations with the new year. Like, what are your feelings overall in regard to the passage and the marking of this time passage?
I like it. I think I always like symbolism. There's like a collective energy. I know we can get caught sometimes in like new year, new me, and I don't subscribe to that. And I also think if there's anything you want to change, we have the power to choose at any time. But this just does feel a little special in the new year because the whole world is experiencing it. And kind of what you mentioned, there's all these different rituals and things of what it means to people. It just to me symbolizes almost like this collective energy and like a little bit more of like hope associated with it, like a new beginning.
I like that a lot. I read somewhere that January is like the free trial for the new year, and that you shouldn't really do anything big in that month because you will really start the new year at Chinese New Year at the end of January.
Oh, interesting. Because I think I've always, not always, but at some point I started subscribing to that. Yeah.
I think it takes the pressure off of needing to have everything ready to go at the beginning of the year, because the holidays do bring a certain amount of stress for people, good or bad. And so to then turn around and have to be ready to start the new year and all of these ideas and goals, I feel like giving yourselves a few weeks of runway in order to be ready is a great approach to the new year.
Absolutely. Yeah, two things come to mind. The first is, in retail, we're not ever thinking the holidays are over till the end of January anyways, because you have people doing returns, you have gift card redemptions, people coming in. There's also all the amount of inventory companies and stores are trying to clearance. So it's like this mad dash still of this energy of people, from a shopping capitalism perspective. But there is like that energy is still happening in the world. And the second thing is this, what I said earlier, new year, new me. You start to see all these like gym membership discounts and, wellness activities. It's like this extra push so quickly after the holidays because the sense is you probably eaten too much and you need to, get better to be that new you, which that always feels kind of icky to me anyways. But yeah, then the amount of people that start resolutions from not enough and then stop them and then judge themselves for stopping. It's just like a whole weird frenetic energy that I think kind of almost wipes away that beauty of the start of the new year, of this hope and possibility.
Absolutely.
It's
And
a weird time. Yeah.
I feel like the things that you mentioned are all very capitalistically driven.
Yes.
I'm all for a good goal, but setting it because someone tells me today is the day to start something new, I don't know. I don't like to be told what to do.
I was just going to say, don't you tell me what to do. Yeah, I feel that too.
It's interesting too that you said that in retail, the holidays continue because the 12 days of Christmas actually start on the 25th for most cultures and end today, which in the Orthodox Church is Theophany or Epiphany. It's the official end of the holiday season, and it marks the baptism of Christ. It's also known as the Feast of Lights because it commemorates the day when God's presence illuminated the world, according to Judeo-Christian beliefs. Jesus is baptized in the River Jordan, and God's voice is heard. This is my son with whom I am well pleased. And so this revelation, this lighting of the world comes to pass. And I love the fact that we have this holiday so soon after Christmas, because I feel like it does help carry people through a time that could be sort of sad after the excitement and the buildup of a big holiday.
Oh, that's so interesting. I never knew all those details. What I do know about Epiphany living here in Greece, it's that time where the priest blesses like a cross and he throws it in the sea and all these men show up, all ages, to like swim out there and be the guy that gets the cross.
It's true. They do it in Greek communities around the world.
Oh,
Like in the US, Tarpon Springs has a huge Epiphany celebration.
This is in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in Australia, where there are so many other Greeks, it's a big holiday celebration for the culture.
And what does it mean? Do you know the guy that gets the cross, he has an extra lucky
And I
year?
think it's just an additional blessing, an additional little oomph, a little bump to start the year.
Yeah.
What I really love is that we start the calendar year with a feast that celebrates both water and light, because I think the two hold very important meaning. It reminds me of making a clean, fresh start, and it inspires me to want to be a light in the world. And so to be able to have this reminder at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of the year, I really love it. For me, it sets a good tone.
Oh, I like that. That is an actual, like, kind of what I was saying, that hope you feel in the world, that a collective hope. I love the light aspect. Yeah.
Because when you think about illumination and you think about how Martin Luther King says, only light can drive out darkness.
Yes.
I'm sure it's a paraphrase of something else. I'm sure I got it wrong as well. But this idea of light to me at the beginning of the year feels more special than any other time. It's like from the solstice in December.
I was just going to say, because we are starting to move towards more light in the world.
We are.
Yeah.
From the darkest night of the year. And then we have from, again, a Judeo-Christian belief, we have the celebration of Christ's birth. And we have the Feast of Light. And the world begins to brighten from a seasonal period. I feel like it's this big swell of something carrying us toward a very fruitful time, an abundant time. Reminds you again of the cyclical nature of life.
Yeah, the cosmos and the universe, everything is like almost like that coming to life. We're marching towards spring. And yeah.
I like it a lot. And then, we have our birthdays. And I'm a big Valentine's fan as well. So for me, it's just one other incredible holiday to celebrate in my favorite time of year.
Oh man, those holidays just never stop.
I know. So when you think about, new year, old year, what experiences brought you joy or fulfillment in 2024?
I would say relationships are top of mind. My group here and people that I know as, expats, as girlfriends, people that I'm working with, collaborating with in the community has really expanded. So that's bringing me a lot of joy. How about for you?
I think those podcasts for me.
Yeah.
It isn't something that on a day-to-day basis I remember, but when we're able to record and when we engage when someone sends me a message that says, like, I'm driving through town and I'm listening to your podcast and I can't tell you what it's like to have your voice in my head again.
Aww.
It brings me such a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
I want more of that for 25. I want more opportunity to build community.
Yes.
That's my goal. I've been working on this book, and with it, even though sometimes reading feels like a very solo activity, you are building a community because there are, hopefully, millions of people who will read it and comment on it and think on it and engage with your characters. And for me, that's what life is. That's the whole purpose.
And what about values? Where were you most aligned with your values, and where did you maybe feel most out of alignment?
Wow. The out of alignment is something that I feel like is very top of mind for me. I felt very out of sync with anything related to money in 2024. I was just talking with a friend the other day about how the stress in relation to money is like a stress that impacts you in a way that nothing else does. For me personally, that type of stress turns me into the worst version of myself. My big, beautiful world full of light and community and love becomes this very scared, fearful, nothing's enough, I will not be able to accomplish my dreams sort of place. And I hate that. But I felt that a lot in 24. And I'm determined to leave it behind. I feel like It was a season I needed to go through in order to recognize I don't have to be that way, even when money questions come into play, because I didn't feel good when I had those moments. And I
Mm.
felt really out of alignment with the life I wanted to live. What about for you?
It's funny because I think about literal alignment in my body. I feel like what was happening is like a realignment, right, with my shoulder. And actually, it feels very body focused. Dealing with the grief of my dad, it was like so much just called me into like slow the F down. And so that word alignment is more of like connection with my body and like slowing down. So I can feel like I could be more powerful in the new year. And I don't mean powerful in the sense of like push and run and go, but more from that alignment, really clarity and acting from a place of the opposite of what you spoke about, like abundance and enoughness.
I think that's something to be very proud of.
Mm, thank you.
I know that it wasn't and still isn't. It's always a process. I know it wasn't an easy process to go through all of that and to find your feet again.
Hmm. Yeah. And I think, straddling, letting go of what you kind of spoke to and what I need to like reach towards, it's like there's still, I think there's just always a lot of that happening. But in this new year, it's kind of like you feel this extra oomph from the light, like you said.
We talked a little bit, I don't know, a few days ago about that. This idea that we're always coming and going in life. We're always arriving at a place of security and accomplishment, logically knowing that it too will pass. And there'll be another period where we're walking and we're pushing and we're struggling to find what it is that we're looking for. But then we will arrive again. And I feel like a broken record, which cyclical in nature. That's what life is.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
good to
not
hear
an
it over and over again. I
yeah,
think we need the reminders.
yeah. It's not we cannot get overly comfortable and reliant on the good days because the bad will come, but we also can't get stuck in the bad days because we know that good is on the other side of this experience.
That's right. And if you were to reflect on where you were true to yourself, where was that last year?
I feel like I was super true to myself in romantic relationship. I feel like I accomplished a point A to point Z sort of transformation, unknowingly that I was going to do this. And I feel so much more comfortable in being who I am and saying, this is what I want, this is what I expect. And if that's not for you, cool.
I am loving this. So I'm looking at you like friends. When I asked the question, Calliope's eyes got wider. She sat up a little taller. She leaned towards the mic. Ooh, I didn't know what I expected when I asked that question, but like, woo, level up, girl.
I'm so feeling that in the romantic space.
Mm.
And it was a growth phase that I did not expect because I thought that I'd already done it. I thought that I'd already reached this place. Boy, was I so wrong. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I have said this to the person that I'm thinking about. I have said it 1,000 times. I'm so grateful for the experience that we went through because it helped me reach this place.
Mm.
And even though it didn't work out the way I had hoped, maybe the way he had hoped, I am so grateful for the experience because without it, I don't know if I would be here. And here is way better than there.
Mm. You went on like an emotional hike.
Wow.
Because
Did I?
Because now you're standing on top of the mountain and you have perspective.
I'm going to build a house there because I ain't never coming down.
Wow. Wow, the power. Mm.
I got the power.
Dun 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 dun.
Oh, it feels so good to have a space to recognize that growth. And I really, really have to shout out the fact that you guys, as my friends, were just along for the ride and you allowed me to feel and you allowed me to backslide and you allowed me to just be in that place I had the most incredible therapist. She was such a safe place for me. I went to her thinking, oh, I will seek additional insight on how to handle challenges in this relationship. And instead of therapizing myself on behalf of someone else, she was able to say, okay, well, let's put that goal aside. And first, let's think about how we got here in the first place. And we went back, we went back, we went back. And I feel like I was able to go to that place years and years and years ago and bring my little self along. I feel so good. I feel so good.
I don't know why I have this vision when you said that of like you walking back into a house and shutting doors in certain rooms, like, and then moving through. And then, yeah. And like you got to one room you want to be in and the lights turned on.
The exercise that she has me do, I was telling her this story about this time I was hiding under the bed because I was scared. And she was like, did you ever go get yourself from under the bed? Have you been hiding under the bed your whole life?
Whoa.
And I was like, holy shit. I think I have. I think I've been being small so that whatever I was afraid of never found me. And Tanya, oh, you're amazing. You just sort of helped me blow the doors off that whole thing, bring myself along, shut the doors on the things that I didn't need to bring with me as I enter the new year from this place of power. I think about something that you have really taught me about less dependence on resolutions and more ideation on things that really resonate with yourself. Picking words for the year versus setting resolutions.
Yeah, there's something, like I said earlier, about resolutions. It feels like we pick something so big, so opposite of where we've been operating, and we're almost setting ourselves up to fail. And then when we don't achieve it, then we just spiral and we sit kind of in that, I'm small, I'm wrong, I failed. And somewhere along the line in my personal development journey, and if you look online, people have also talked about this too, so it wasn't unique to something I created, but it was around finding words of inspiration. And I use that as like my North Star. So kind of essentially, how do I want to feel? It's kind of, I guess some of it's partially like feeling, but what is the essence of what I want this year to be like? And so anytime I'm kind of like, oh, should I? I don't know if I want to do this or, no, I can come back to those words and it can say more of this. That's a yes, that's a no. It's a filter. Or if I'm feeling uninspired, also coming back to go, oh, but you committed to creativity, which I did this year, right? And so go, oh, right, more of that. And at any point in time, I think we should give ourselves a permission if we're 6 months in and this word is either fulfilled or not for us, we can drop it, we can add something in. So it's a whole thing of just knowing you can start something new at any time. But yeah, I mean, it's been so impactful. My 3 words for the year were feel, expand, and create. I'm still in that process. Like we said, January, giving myself time to think about what the next words are going to be for 2025. But I don't know. I think creativity right now still has a charge on it, and expansion does too for me to keep, because there's something around like what you said earlier, taking up space. Something also, another word that's kind of I've been playing with is flow. Right? Kind of, it's almost opposite of that. Like you said, the scarcity mentality, which there's a frequency of scarcity in the world. So yeah, flow feels like one, there's something there, or ease. I don't know. So kind of like word shopping, if you will.
I love that, Feely. I think that's so great. I'm going to pick 3 words, but I'm going to give myself a little bit of time to figure it out.
Marinate a little bit. And like I said, do like a fit session, try it on for a week. Say the word out loud, because also too, it's like, oh, and then what's the definition mean? And sometimes we could speak it and go, oh, that doesn't feel, again, thinking of your body, do you get that charge of like a full body? Hell yeah. Listening to that.
I loved when you told me years ago, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Happy 2025, everybody.
Yeah, happy 2025, everyone. Thank you to everyone who is supporting us through this new venture, our families, our friends, and our ever-growing tribe of like-minded individuals. Our hope for you this year is that you gain clarity on what truly lights you up inside and invest in what authentically nourishes your soul.
If you love what we're serving up, be sure to subscribe and rate us on your favorite streaming platform. Also, head over to Instagram and give us a follow at Biscuits and Sunshine, all spelled out.
If this podcast brings light into your life, we'd be honored if you share it with a friend.
This is Biscuits and Sunshine with Callie and Landra.